Hello, I am Pramod Kumar. Today we will study microeconomics and our chapter is the theory of the firm under perfect competition. Right? So here we will study how does a firm decide how much to produce. Right? Any decision by any firm is not taken just like that. Lot of logic calculations go after that. So here we will study how does a firm decide how much to produce, quantity, how much, right? So here we will talk of the market where perfect competition is there. So the defining features of a market with perfect competition are mainly two. One is buyers and sellers are firms, right? Buyers and sellers are firms, and what they are? They are producing homogeneous goods. What is homogeneous? This pen, this pen, this pen. Means the goods that they are producing cannot be differentiated. They are almost alike. Homogeneous, right? And the buyers and sellers are firms and they are producing homogeneous goods. Second is each buyer and seller is a price taking firm. So what is a price taking firm? Right? In the case of a buyer will always try to buy any product at the lowest price. Right? Buyers and sellers are price taking firms. Price takers or price taking firms. A buyer will always try to buy at the lowest price. That is called price taking from the viewpoint of the buyer. From the viewpoint of the seller thinks if he quotes some price which is above market price, so nobody will buy, right? Secondly, if he quotes equal to or less than market price, he can sell as much as he wants, right? But here there is a small problem. If the assumption is if this seller quotes equal to or less than market price, he can sell as much as he wants. So if it is like that, why will he quote below market price? Right? So below market price is ruled out. So he will sell as much as he wants at the market price. This is called price taking. Okay? Now we go ahead. Now we will identify the conditions under which price taking is reasonable assumption. What we have assumed? That buyers and sellers are firms, homogeneous products they are producing, and buyers and sellers are price takers, right? Here we will identify the conditions under which price taking is a reasonable assumption when the market has many firms and buyers, many sellers and buyers, right? And these buyers and sellers have perfect information about the prevailing market price, right? These buyers and sellers have perfect information about the prevailing market price. So one is, suppose one of the sellers increases the market price. So what happens? People who are buying from him, they will move from him. His sales will become zero and he will be out of market. So the persons who used to buy from this seller, they will shift to other sellers and there will be no other change in the market because adequate number of sellers are available in the market at the current market price. So, if he is increasing price above market price, he is out. His sales are zero, right? So, this is called price taking. This seller has increased his price above market price. So, his sales have become zero and all his turnover has shifted to other sellers. So, a firm's inability to sell at a price higher than the market price is called price taking, right? Now we go to revenue. What is revenue? Suppose my output is I manufacture. What do I manufacture? Suppose I manufacture pens, right? I am in the manufacturing of pens. I produce 10 units per annum. So this is called output or production, right? And if each unit sells for 5 rupees, 5 per unit, then my revenue is 10 into 5 is equal to 50, right? I produce 10 units of pens per annum and the rate is 5 per unit, right? So my revenue is quantity produced into price is equal to, so this is Q, this is R, no, this is P, this is P, quantity, price, and this is revenue, total revenue. So total revenue is equal to Q into R, sorry, Q into P, right? Total revenue is equal to quantity produced into price, okay? So quantity into price, suppose I produce 5 pens per annum, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? These are the quantity and this is the rate. So revenue is what? At 1 quantity, my revenue is 5. At 2 quantity, my revenue is 10. At 3, 15. At 4 units, I am 20. And at 5 units, I am 25. Right? This is called revenue. Okay? Total revenue is equal to Q into P, quantity into price. Right? And total revenue curve can be seen like this. This is the quantity and this is the revenue, right? So here at Q1, this is the quantity. If I produce 1 quantity, this is the revenue that I get, equal to this. So here, so it is cutting here at 0. It means at 0 output, 0 revenue will be there because I have not sold anything, I haven't got anything, right? Only when the quantity sold is 1, revenue comes to a positive figure, otherwise it remains 0. So it's a straight upward going line. The more the quantity sold increases, the more the revenue goes up, right? The more the quantity sold increases, the more the revenue goes up. And what is the slope of this line, a straight line? Slope is AQ1 upon OQ1, right? What is AQ1? AQ1 is revenue upon what is OQ1? Quantity is equal to price, right? This slope is AQ1 upon OQ1. What is AQ1? AQ1 is revenue. What is OQ1 is quantity. Revenue upon quantity is equal to price. Revenue 15 upon quantity 3 is equal to price. Revenue 25 upon quantity 5 is equal to price, right? That's done. And now we go to price line. What is price line? Price line shows the concept of price line explained in this chapter. It goes like this. This is the y-axis, this is the x, this is 0. This is quantity and this is price line. So what does it show? It shows that price line is independent of the quantity produced, right? This assumption, we are talking about perfect competition, right? If the market doesn't have the condition of perfect competition, this will not prevail. Here price line is straight horizontal line cutting the y-axis, right? And it remains flat horizontal. It means price line is independent of quantity. If one quantity is produced, price line is the same. If 5 quantities are produced, price line is the same. If 10 quantities are produced, price line is the same, because the market is having a condition of perfect competition, right? People cannot quote more, cannot quote less. Those who quote more will be out of market, right? Those who quote less, they will incur losses and they will also be thrown out of market, right? So in price line, now we discuss average revenue. What is average revenue? It's very simple. Average revenue is equal to total revenue upon quantity produced, right? And what is total revenue? We have already discussed. Price into quantity is equal to total revenue. Here, price into quantity, price into quantity, price into quantity, price into quantity. That is total revenue, right? So TR is equal to P into Q upon Q. So this Q is cancelled and we come to P. Average revenue is equal to, what is the formula for average revenue? Suppose I am producing 10 units and total revenue is 100. So average revenue will be 100 divided by 10 is equal to 10. Average revenue, total revenue upon quantity produced. The formula for total revenue we have already discussed. Price into quantity upon Q. Q and Q are crossed, P. Average revenue is equal to price, right? So this is the condition in perfect competition market, right? Now we go to marginal revenue, right? What is marginal revenue? It's very simple. Revenue arising out of sale of an additional output, additional unit. Suppose I sell 10 units and get revenue of 110 rupees, right? I sell 10 units and get revenue of 110 rupees. I sell 11 units and it becomes 120, right? Initially I sold 10 units, so my revenue was, total revenue was 110. When I am selling 11 units, total revenue increases to 20. So marginal revenue for the 11th unit is 120 minus 110 is equal to 10 rupees, right? For 10 units, my total revenue is 110. For 11 units, it increases to 120. So marginal revenue for my firm for the 11th unit sold is 120 rupees minus 100 rupees is equal to 10 rupees. Marginal revenue, revenue arising out of the sale of an additional unit, right? So once again, marginal revenue of a firm is defined as the increase in total revenue for a unit increase in the firm's output. Firm's output increases by 1 unit, and then whatever is revenue increases is the marginal revenue, right? For a price taking firm, marginal revenue equals the market price, right? Marginal revenue is equal to market price for a price taking firm. We are talking of competitive, perfect competition market, right? Then we go to profit maximization. What is profit maximization? Right? See, we have already discussed when we started this chapter that a firm produces the level of output where its profit is the maximum, right? A firm produces the level of output where its profit is the maximum, right? So, you know this, in economics it denotes profit. Profit is equal to total revenue minus total cost, right? Profit is equal to total revenue minus total cost. Now, we go to how do we come to total revenue. We have seen this is the total revenue. If I am producing one quantity, rate is 5, total revenue is 5. If I am producing 5 quantities, rate is 5, my total revenue is, right? Now, in order to arrive at the profit, we need to know total revenue minus total cost, okay? And the gap between total revenue and total cost is the earnings net of cost, profit. Earnings net of cost means we have deducted all the cost and whatever is left is earnings, profits. A firm is a ruthless profit maximizer. A firm is a ruthless profit maximizer. It may be less concerned with the output, more concerned with the ruthless means merciless. So, it always tries to maximize its profits. Then, the critical question is at what output level is the firm's profit maximized? That we need to understand. Assuming that the firm's output is perfectly divisible, we now show that if there is a positive output level Q0, if there is a positive output level Q0 means it's not negative output, at which profit is maximized, then 3 conditions must hold. 3 conditions must hold. For what? For profit maximization. What are those conditions? Market price P is equal to marginal cost at Q0 of output. First we will explain this. Market price P is equal to marginal cost, right? Let us suppose it is not equal to marginal cost, right? Market price is more than marginal cost. Then what happens? If market price is more than marginal cost, then customers will not be coming to this firm for buying goods, right? If market price is more than marginal cost, what will happen? We are discussing profit maximization by the firm and 3 assumptions which must hold if a firm needs to maximize its profits at Q level positive output, positive level of output. If market price is more than marginal cost, then what happens? If market price is more than marginal cost, suppose my marginal cost means the cost of producing an additional output is 10 rupees and market price is 12 rupees. What will happen? Market price will go up. People will shift from this farm to other farms for buying their goods, right? Because this market price will be more than the market price in the market, where marginal cost is equal to market price. Here it is more than marginal cost. Another condition, market price is less than marginal cost. What happens? Suppose market price is less than marginal cost. Suppose my marginal cost is 10 rupees and I quote market price of 9 rupees. So what is happening? With sale of each extra unit of the output, I am losing 1 rupee, right? So that cannot be the profit maximization output level of sale for me. If I am quoting 9 rupees market price and my marginal cost is 10 rupees, then with the sale of each successive unit of production, I will be losing 1 rupee per unit of sale, additional per unit of sale. And it means that will not be the profit maximization level of output for my firm, right? So market price P must be equal to marginal cost at Q0 level of positive output. This is one thing we have discussed, right? We need to discuss 3 things. So second one is the marginal cost is not decreasing. Marginal cost is not decreasing at Q0 level of output. What? So we will presume it is decreasing, right? Suppose my marginal cost is right now 10, non-decreasing. This is the condition when it needs to hold. 3 conditions need to hold for practice profit maximization. Marginal cost is non-decreasing means it's not going down, right? For profit maximization, it is necessary that marginal cost is non-decreasing. If marginal cost is decreasing, then what happens? I need to produce more. Why to produce more? To get more benefit out of declining marginal cost. See, at present level marginal cost is 10. Suppose I am earning 1 rupee per unit. If it goes down to 9, I will be earning 2 rupees, more than 1 rupee. If it further goes down, I will be earning more than 2 rupees at this point of sales. So it means marginal cost is not decreasing at Q0, then the profit maximization happens, right? Not decreasing, right? Either it will be constant or it will be increasing. If it is decreasing, then the firm is not at the profit maximization level of sales, right? What happens when the marginal cost goes down? What happens? Average variable cost goes down, average cost goes down, everything goes down, right? So when marginal cost goes down, average variable cost goes down, average cost goes down, naturally the firm earns more, right? So marginal cost is not decreasing at Q0. If it is decreasing at Q0, it means that profit maximization level, output level cannot be Q0, it will be somewhere else. If it is decreasing, then the company needs to produce more and more and more to take the advantage of decreasing marginal cost, right? Now we go to the third point. What is the third point? In the short run, market price needs to be equal to or more than average variable cost, right? Short run. In the long run, market price needs to be equal to or more than average cost. Let us discuss this first, right? In the short run, why do we talk average variable cost? Short run, because all the factors of production cannot be changed, varied in the short run. Whereas in the long run, all the factors of production can be varied, and in the long run, nothing is invariable or fixed, everything can be varied. So short run, market price needs to be either equal to or more than average variable cost. Suppose this is not the case, right? Average variable cost, market price is lower than average variable cost. Then what happens? Suppose at 10 units of output, average variable cost is 100. Total variable cost is 100, average variable cost is 10, right? 10 units produced, total variable cost 100, average variable cost 10, right? Now we go to 11 units, right? We go to 11 units, and here what happens? Here we get market price is less. So suppose here it is 112. So here it becomes 121, say 121. So average variable cost becomes 11. So if market price is less than average variable cost, it means with the sale of each successive unit of output, the firm is losing some money. It is not even able to recover the average variable cost. So that point of level of sales cannot be the profit maximizing level of sales. And in the long run, same theory applies, but it becomes average cost, right? In the long run, market price needs to be equal to or more than average cost. If it is less than that, it means that with each successive unit of sales, the firm is losing some amount of money, and that is why that level of output cannot be the profit maximization level of output, right? So what do we need to mainly understand here? We need to mainly understand here that it's all a play of marginal revenue and marginal cost. Profit maximization is a game of this. What is marginal revenue? Revenue arising out of an additional unit of sale. Suppose I am selling 10 for 100 rupees and 11 for 121 rupees. It means marginal revenue for the 11th item is 21 rupees. Just for an example, to make you understand. 10 units I sold for 100, 11 units I sold for 121. So marginal revenue for the 11th item of sale is 121 minus 100 is equal to 21. Marginal cost. Suppose 10 I produced for 90 and 11 I produced for 110. So marginal cost for the 11th item of production is 110 minus 90 is equal to 20, right? So a firm keeps on producing output till the time that marginal cost remains positive or marginal profit doesn't become zero. A firm keeps on producing till the time that marginal profit becomes zero. After that, it stops production, because if it produces further, it will incur loss on each successive unit of production, right? So marginal revenue minus marginal cost, right? It shows what has come into the business, what has gone out of the business. So whatever remains is the marginal profit, right? I hope so. Everything is a play of marginal revenue, revenue arising out of an additional unit of sale. Marginal cost, cost increase in cost by production of a additional unit of production, right? And marginal profit. A firm keeps on producing till the marginal profit becomes zero. After that, it doesn't produce, because with each successive unit of production, it will incur losses, right? I hope you found it easy to understand. In case of any difficulty, you may please approach me on my email ID, which will be there at the thumbnail to the video. Thank you.